Today on the news and why it matters, we made it. We watched the Democratic debates, so you didn't have to. And let me tell you, it was close. There were some parts where I thought that I might not survive, but we made it through, and we have got a lot of analysis for you. Coming up, you don't want to change the channel. It starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by the one and only Chad Prather, host of The Chad Prather Show.
It's weird. I just wake up and suddenly I'm on your set. You drug me? How do I wind up here? What is going on, Sarah?
Someone get my lawyer on the phone.
I'm hashtag almost me.
We've got Josh Hammer, editor-at-large from The Daily Wire.
I'm not a one and only, but I'm always happy to be here.
And just for the record, you did not just wake up here. You recall driving yourself here.
A little late, perhaps, but I did get here.
And then Peter Hassan on his maiden voyage on the show, author of The Manipulators, which we will get into a little bit later because I find this very fascinating. But maiden voyage on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I've got to be honest. I was the one who drugged Chad.
Oh, and we got it on tape.
Hey.
We got a lot to get into, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. Now, all of you listening to this show at this very moment, you're probably paying too much for your cell phone if you aren't using Patriot Mobile, and that's not even the worst part. So you're paying too much, and on top of that, the major cell phone carriers donate millions to left-wing causes, abortion, open borders, things that you're going to the voting booth to vote against. So let's talk about reliability when it comes to cell phones. Did you know, you may not know, all of the carriers use one of the same 4 towers. So here's the difference. Patriot Mobile is the only company that donates a portion of your bill to support conservative causes, religious liberty, life, the Second Amendment, starting at only $25. $25, you guys. Patriot Mobile plans come with unlimited talk, text, and the same reliable nationwide service with no hidden fees. We got to stick together, all right? Us conservatives, we have to stick together, especially when we're hearing, Bernie's people talk about throwing us all in gulags. You don't want to do that. We got to stick together. Go to patriotmobile.com/news. If you use offer code NEWS, you will get a free month of service when you open a new line. You can also call if you still use cell phones for anything other than texting and emailing. It's 877-367-7524. That is patriotmobile.com/news. patriotmobile.com/news, promo code NEWS. All right, the debate. I don't think I have seen anything more boring on television in at least 5 years. And I want to go 10, but to be safe, to be conservative, we're conservative here, I will say 5. Did you see anything other than the Bernie-Warren exchange, which we will get to? Other than that, Chad, it was like, climate change, all this talk about climate change, and
that is the pressing issue on the planet today.
It's true.
Is climate change. Let's just go ahead, and I'm going to come out. We talked about this on my show. We're all for climate. We're all for climate science, right? Okay. Now, what are you going to do about it? We all agree with it. No polluting. There, the debates are over. Now, what are you going to do about it? It's the pressing issue, right? I was more focused on your Instagram stories because you were not wearing makeup. And you were watching the deal, and I was like, who's this guy? And then I was watching Stu Burguera, who had taken over Blaze Media's Instagram. And so he was kind of live gramming, or whatever you want to call that. I was far more enamored with y'all's analysis of just life at home than I was anything going on with that was on that stage.
Which tells you exactly how much happened on that stage, because there was nothing. I mean, my dog was sleeping next to me. That's about all that was going on in my house. Before we get to the Bernie-Warren exchanges, Josh, did anything else stick out to you in the debate?
So, our friend Liz Wheeler from One American News, she ran a poll during this debate. She said, which is more boring? Option 1, The Bachelor. Option 2, the Democratic debate. And I responded to Liz, I said, this is grossly unfair to The Bachelor. Just
not even close.
Not even a close call. The one thing that substantively stood out to me was not what was included, but what was actually not included. We are not far removed from the assassination, targeted killing, whatever you want to call it, of Qasem Soleimani. By far the most wanted terrorist in the entire world. That did not come up last night. These people are, let's think about what they're auditioning for. They're auditioning for the position of commander-in-chief of the world's greatest fighting force. They didn't get a single question about what they would have done if they were in the president's position about taking out the most wanted terrorist in the world. So that to me was just dumbfounding. But as far as what was actually included, talk about your leftist issue of the day, a lot of global warming, climate change. It put me to sleep. It was terrible.
Yeah, taxes. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I think the fact that it was so boring kind of speaks to the fact that all of the Democrats running for president have already gone so far left. There's really not much more, new material they can bring out because you've already come out with Medicare for all. You already don't want to enforce immigration laws. So at a certain point, there's, it becomes,
repetitive,
almost old news with how far left they are. And so, they just start playing the hits over and over again.
I mean, they do, but it's just like no personality either.
No,
they're all so freaking boring.
I definitely missed Andrew Yang.
Yang Gang, Marianne.
I feel the psychic energy, though. Here's my thing on that, and you make a great point, Josh, because I look at it, if we were running a caveman system, all right, just out there beating people over the heads, who's going to rise to the top, leader of the hill, head of the pack, who's going to be alpha in this thing? Let's get down into it. None of these people impress me as a leader. Like, none of these people are going to just rise up and say, I'm taking this by force. You're right. They didn't bring up any of this stuff about Soleimani. They don't talk about the economy. They don't bring up any of those things. What are you going to do if you're put in that position? Nothing's brought up. We just got to feel our way through this whole thing because, climate science and,
Well, Joe Biden did mention, I think he said that middle-class people are dying in Trump's economy. I'm like, what? Really?
I am doing outstanding. I've gained weight. This is Trump's America.
It really is. So Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, of course, had a really tense moment, which honestly, the only notable thing, in my opinion, that happened. We knew it was coming. Bernie Sanders was, of course, asked if he actually told Elizabeth Warren that a woman could not be president. Now, the story here, I think, is the way that the CNN moderator handled his answer of that question. Watch.
Senator Sanders, I do want to be clear here. You're saying that you never told Senator Warren that a woman could not win the election.
That is correct.
Senator Warren, what did you think when Senator Sanders told you a woman could not win the election?
I disagreed.
He just said he didn't do it. Did she not hear him?
You'll go back to some old episodes of the news and why it matters, because weeks and weeks ago, one of the early debates, I want to think it was like the second or third one, maybe the second one, and they were talking about how Bernie and Liz were going to come together and they were going to fight together, and it was like one of them's got to win and they're just going to help each other. And I would have been backstage. I said, okay, Liz, you're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this, and then you're going to say this, and then when we come out on stage, you say that. And when she said it, if I was Bernie, I'd have said, no, let me tell you about this bitch right here. This bitch. Right, that's what I would have done. Like, I'd have just thrown her under the bus. But no, they played nice. And now look what's going on. This bitch, she's owning Bernie. He can't hear. What is this you're saying? Why are they talking about women at all? Genders don't count. They don't matter. They don't even exist. Your gender is a figment of your imagination and what you feel like today. What difference does it make?
That's just like a woman, Josh, to stab you in the back.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I wish Jesse Kelly were here to give us his hot, his hot take on this. No, but look, my colleague Matt Walsh.
We don't wish for that.
No, we really never wish. I love Jesse, but we never wish we were on a podcast with him. But my colleague Matt Walsh at Daily Wire actually had a great column on this today. I mean, look, we are told to believe all women, right? That's the entire premise of this Me Too movement, is that no matter what a woman says in any social context, in any phase of life, her word counts. And if it's a he said, she said, the he loses, the she wins. And the CNN moderators have apparently adopted that in full force. I agree with you, Chad. Bernie should have come out more aggressive. He's also, like 80 years old? He had a heart attack a few months ago. He's probably not physically capable of that.
Can't get that blood pressure up too high.
Yeah.
Still more capable than Joe Biden, though.
Fair enough. Good point.
Not saying a lot.
Peter, what was your takeaway from that?
I think it was interesting in that, supporters of Bernie Sanders, finally got to understand how conservatives feel all the time in terms of being treated by CNN.
That's a great point. That's a great point, which is not great when you consider Twitter, there was a video that just came out of them saying they want to burn reporters and MSNBC down.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me a little fearful.
And so, you know it's bad when conservatives are almost feeling bad for Bernie Sanders. Almost. Not actually.
Almost, because I really would have.
They've been there.
Yes, but I really would have liked to have seen him get asked a question about that video that leaked. Although not shocking that we didn't see it. So that awkward exchange happened. And then there was the end of the debate when everyone, historically, they go and they shake each other's hands and everyone is civil, regardless of what happened on the debate stage. Oh, no. Elizabeth Warren was not done with Bernie Sanders. Let's watch this.
We want you to see this.
Will not shake his hand. For you podcast listeners, she did not shake his hand. He went for the handshake. She pulled back her hand. There was a little brief exchange that Tom Steyer was privy to, and it looked really awkward for him. And then he kind of dismissed her and turned around and left. Bernie did. Now, there was a New York Times report that came out. Weird, we keep having these leaks going on when it comes to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. So someone came forward to the New York Times and said, well, actually, Elizabeth was not happy with the way that he characterized their conversation about a woman becoming president. So she was very upset about that and couldn't shake his hand.
Let me tell you how it is with Marxists. You're either in charge or your life is at stake, right? That's the deal. You're either in power or you're about to die. Just ask Leon Trotsky, who went all the way to Mexico only to get an ice axe in the back of the head. A long arm of Stalin's law, right? These are two folks who, at the end of the day, they can play nice as much as they want to play nice and pretend like they're buddies and they're friends. But at the end of the day, this is a system that falls in on itself, and you have got to put your opponent on a ship, weld them in, and sink the ship. That's the only thing you can do, because if you're not in charge in that system, because let's face it, when you get big government and everything is about government funded, and by the way, kids, I'll remind you, there's no such thing as government funded, but once you get buy into that ideology, it's only the people at the top that matter. Everybody else in that caste system are just peasants ready for the gulag. That's what you saw acted out.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think?
So, you alluded to it earlier, but my only surprise is that this day took this long to get here. I mean, it was obvious from the get-go that only one can survive of these two. But a quick substantive point, I can think of only one time in my entire life where I made a very deliberate, conscientious decision not to shake someone's hand. I was a second-year law student. I was very active in the pro-life group. I helped found the pro-life group at University of Chicago Law School. I went to the pro-abortion group's talk, and they had Willie Parker, who was the only late-term abortionist in the entire state of Mississippi. From a pro-life perspective, that guy has murdered tens of thousands of human beings. I refuse to shake his hand. I may or may not have been in the right, but I'm going to go out and say I had a better reason to not shake his hand than Elizabeth Warren had to not shake Bernie Sanders' hand.
That's a really great point. And Peter, do you think that it made her look bad to not shake his hand?
I think it absolutely made her look bad. You're in a campaign to be, commander-in-chief, and it just made her look very, very small and really kind of petty.
And
it really, I don't think it reflected as well on her as she probably thought it would. But I do have to say the best part of the entire video is Tom Steyer just being the awkward third wheel.
Hey guys, it's like the Homer Simpson trying to back into the bush. He's just like, I really want to be invisible right now.
It was his biggest mistake of the night.
It's really,
Does anybody else find it interesting that when a Howard Dean goes, yeah, or Mike Dukakis comes out looking like a mushroom with the helmet, in the tank, and that used to end campaigns.
Yeah.
These days, these people, it doesn't matter what they look like, dude. They just sweep it right under the rug. These are the kind of things that used to be in politics. This was a kiss of death in a lot of ways.
See, so I want to go back to the non-handshake aspect. You say you think it's petty. I agree with you, and I think both of you agree with that, right? However, I do think that it was a calculation on her part that she thought, if I show this on camera, she knows she's being filmed, right? If I do this on camera, live on television, then I get to go back and say I was so upset because he lied, and that bolsters my credibility in this he said, she said battle. What do you think, Chad?
I don't know. they're all liars. I mean, how in the world can Elizabeth Warren sit there and call anybody a liar, right? I mean, she's lied about everything.
Pocahontas?
Everything, from the pregnancy to the Pocahontas thing and all these different...
going to public school?
Just blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, at this stage in the game, none of them can call another one liars or deceiver because she's the top of the list on that one.
Yeah. Well, she was very, very offended, Bernie. How dare you? We've got a lot more coming up. Got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I agree with you, Sarah. I think it was absolutely planned.
Yeah.
If you missed Team Bloomberg's tweets during the debate, you are missing out. You're not going to want to miss all of the tweets that we have for you. It was really bizarre. But first, happy new hair to you guys who have discovered Keep's hair loss treatment. Now, I say happy new hair because you are well on your way to keeping the hair you have. And listen up, 66% of men will even experience hair regrowth with Keeps. All right, losing your hair, it sucks, it's awkward, you don't want to go to the doctor. I know you men don't want to go to the doctor about literally anything, so you're not going to go to the doctor about that. Okay, you don't have to. You can go to keeps.com/Y. Keeps has the generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. It's going to save you a bundle of money doing generic. You can do it all from the comfort of your couch. You answer a couple questions, you take a few pictures of your hair, you send it to a licensed doctor who will review your info and recommend the right treatment for you. They ship it directly to your door. You can go to keeps.com/Y. We have got you a great deal. It's 50% off. Yeah, that's right. Keeps.com/Y. That is keeps.com/Y. Make your New Year's resolution getting your hair back. I don't know. That sounds pretty cool. Keeps.com/Y. So while the debate was going on, some of us who were live tweeting noticed these really bizarre tweets coming from Team Bloomberg's account. Now, of course, Mike Bloomberg did not make the debate stage, so he was not up there. And I really can't wait to get, gentlemen, your take on this. I'm going to just kind of cycle through some of them. So here's one. Last year alone, Mike spent over $200 million on scratch-off lottery tickets. Hashtag Bloomberg facts. During the 1996 primaries, Mike Tyson bit off part of Pat Buchanan's ear. Okay. Much like a real wolf, debate moderator Wolf Blitzer can devour an elk carcass in one sitting. That's awkward. Mike has given billions to charity but refuses to give another cent to his lazy slacker nephew Dwayne. All right. By defeating Donald Trump in November, Mike would become our first president with functioning gills. Chester A. Arthur had gills, but they were non-functional. Okay, I'm really worried. And this one, it looks different. You guys who are watching, it looks different because they deleted it. I captured a screenshot of it. So as you can see, the profile picture is different. It's Mike Bloomberg's face in a meatball. Not sure why. It says, when choosing your candidate, remember, Mike can fit 9D batteries in his mouth at one time. And it didn't stop there. Just because I read it, we don't have it, but I read it. There was an update to that they added, that they deleted both later, that said update. As of last night, it's actually 11. Chad, is everyone okay over there?
Josh, how many D's can you fit in your mouth?
Probably not 9, Chad. I've never tried, though.
Likely
Good
story.
Lord have mercy. Now, look, I'm a guy who's made a living off of being random and silly online, right? But I'm not running for anything. And I appreciate being random like that for the purpose of trying to get humor. I started out making videos in my truck.
Yeah.
It was therapy for me, right? And then all of a sudden there were a lot of people who were out there making videos in their vehicle, in their truck and things. It sort of became a thing. You either know how to do it and you can do it and you can pull it off and be real with it or not. Trump has kind of changed the game on the Twitter thing. And so now these guys feel the need to go out there and just own that platform. But you either have it or you don't have it. And whoever's writing these things at an attempt to be a jokester, okay, we're talking about it, but what's it doing in the grand scheme of things? It's silly at the end of the day.
And
we're
doesn't
going
help
to
his
just
campaign, right?
We're just going to make fun of it. I mean, I'd rather deal with the non-handshaking thing at the debate stage than deal with Bloomberg talking about how many D's he could put in his mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
And the meatball thing, which is just silly.
really, really
Not
weird.
a good look, Mike.
When you have to say, Josh, that you were not hacked, when you have to explain to everyone, no, I was not hacked,
You probably messed up.
Yeah.
you got to believe it's not a
Yeah.
good look.
Yeah, on the one hand, maybe a desperate cry for attention, but he's carpeting the airwaves here. I mean, here in Dallas, we see him on the airwaves all the time. So cry for attention that doesn't quite seem right. I mean, Bloomberg's an older guy. He lived through the 1960s, the hippie stuff. Is he like bringing LSD back to his campaign?
Listening to a Timothy Leary album.
I don't know. Maybe like listening to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds in the background and all that stuff. No, but on a slightly more serious note, this is just not at all also in character with who Mike Bloomberg is as a politician and what he's trying to present himself as to the Americans. You know, I grew up in the New York area. I have a lot of family there. Mike Bloomberg, honestly, was actually a pretty successful mayor of New York City. A lot of people remember the stupid soda ban and all this nanny state crap. He came in at the toughest time in the history of New York City post 9/11. He actually had a pretty successful record. So he's a pretty serious guy. And this patently silly, stupid, unserious stuff is just totally antithetical to his brand. So I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
I feel like it kind of, it's a similar theme with all of the Democrats, just inauthentic.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I've got to take, if I had Chad's hat, I would take my hat off to whichever 22-year-old decide to get Mike Bloomberg's money and have him pay him to make Mike Bloomberg look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what he did. And to, to go off of Josh's point, it really is just not who Mike Bloomberg is. You know, he's the kind of this older, stuffier, short man. And and now you're sending out tweets with his face in a meatball? That doesn't make you look like a serious candidate. It makes you look like a joke.
He's got Judge Judy on his side, though.
Yeah, D's with a ball, baby. D's with balls. I don't know how that goes.
I have no idea what you're saying.
D batteries and meatballs and Judge Judy, and there's just so many jokes. So many jokes. I forgot Judge Judy was alive.
Did you?
101, right?
She's like the most successful woman on daytime television. No, most successful person on daytime television, I think.
I'll tell you a funny story about Judy after.
You can't say it on air?
Yeah.
Come on.
It goes back a ways. Me and Judy had a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Okay. Well, so we're going to cut the break.
D batteries?
We're going to cut to break earlier than expected so that I can hear this story from Chad. We'll be right back.
I want to know how many D batteries Judy's gone through.
Hey, before we go into overtime, would like to remind you guys, I know I said it at the beginning of the show, Peter over here, Peter Hassan has a book. It's available for pre-order. It is not out yet. It is called The Manipulators, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Big Tech's War on Conservatives. Peter, give them your elevator pitch. Tell them why they should buy this book.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, the book basically exposes all of the ways that Google, Facebook, Twitter, and really just all of big tech are working against conservatives in ways that you know about, ways that you don't know about. We were able to, I was able to get a lot of insider interviews, a lot of documents, and there really is just some shocking stuff in there. Which, if you have a Facebook account, it affects you. If you have a Twitter account, it affects you. If you use YouTube, it affects you.
So basically anyone watching this program.
Which is just how big of a problem it is.
So how terrified should we be about what's to come?
We're pretty dang terrified, especially considering it's 2020. This is an immensely important election.
Yeah.
And there are people kind of behind the curtain pulling all sorts of strings that people don't know about. And it's just really concerning stuff. I don't care if people buy it. You can steal it from Barnes & Noble for all I care. But please read it, because it's important.
Just read it, and it affects all. Like I said, if you're watching this program, it affects you. Especially if you're conservative and watching this program, 100%. It affects you. Because we all know that these big tech companies, they are not what you would call also conservative or Republican or anything like that. So definitely make sure you pick up a copy. The Manipulators. Also coming up in overtime, finally, House impeachment managers have been announced to officially prosecute the case against Trump. I know, Chad, I know. Yes. You're going to be really excited when you find out who it is. I'm sure there will be no bias whatsoever going on. And also Democrats have a little bit of a new impeachment evidence that they would like to dump out on the eve of the vote to formally send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. We'll get into that as well. Also, Democrats blocked a vote to support the Iranian protesters and condemn Iran for killing 1,500 of its own people. I'll let you marinate on that one for a second. If you have not yet subscribed to Blaze TV, you got to go to blazetv.com. You can use promo code NEWS. We'll get you $10 off your annual subscription. That ain't bad. blazetv.com. Overtime starts next. You don't want to miss it.
There's another picture of who that is.